Hi, Alexis Hasselberger here, time management and productivity coach. Today, I want to talk about the habit loop. So, if you've been trying to build habits or break habits, and it's been hard, and maybe you've been trying some of the techniques that I've been suggesting that help us to just not rely on willpower or on motivation, then that's great. But it's still hard. I mean, building habits is always hard. And so, I thought it might be helpful to understand what our brain is actually doing when we're trying to build a habit. And so, I'm going to talk about the habit loop. So the habit loop is really the three components that make up a habit. So the first thing is that there is a cue or a trigger. It's the context, the situation, whatever is happening right before the next part, which is the automated behavior or the routine. Right? So we have a trigger or cue, then we have a routine. It's a behavior or a set of behaviors that you do automatically without thinking about it. And then the last piece of that habit loop is the reward. So it is what your brain is getting when you complete that routine, right? So we have the cue or the trigger, we have the routine or the automated behavior, and then we have the reward. All those things need to be present for a habit to be, built, to be intact, etc. And so one thing that I often find is when we are having trouble with our habits or having trouble changing them, maybe we're trying to affect all the parts of that habit loop at once, right? We're trying to affect the trigger or the cue, we're trying to affect the routine, and we're trying to affect the reward. We're trying to do all of it, right? And so sometimes, if we're not having as much success as we would like, what we can do is take a step back and say, just try to affect one piece of that habit loop, right? So let's say you have a habit of drinking a glass of wine every night when you finish work, and maybe you don't want to do that habit anymore. Maybe that's not something that you think is serving you well. And I have nothing against drinking. I'm just saying, sometimes people we want to drink less, right? And so if that were a habit that you were trying to build, or to break rather, then you might say, okay, well, I still have that same context, right? I still finish work every day. So that's kind of existing no matter what. So I'm not going to really affect that. Uh, and then maybe I can just try to change the behavior. So maybe I'll use that strategy of replacement and I will make myself a nice mocktail after work instead of the glass of wine. And then I will still get that same reward of like having this nice, relaxing beverage that's kind of fancy, at the end of the day to help me relax. And so by doing that, you're not, trying to take away the thing entirely, right? You're just leaving that reward for yourself. You're just editing a little bit on the routine. So if you're trying to build different habits, you might want to think about how you can use the habit loop and your knowledge of it to affect just a part of what's going on. And that may help you to make these small incremental changes that make long-term habit change successful.
Hey guys, as always, I'm editing this video and I just want to tell you to subscribe because only about 1.6 of the people that watch our videos are actually subscribed. So it would just be a huge help to subscribe and just check. Sometimes it unsubscribes people.